Okay, Bob, here we are. I took the bumper off the car. Not a big deal to get it off. A lot of it just snaps in. We'll take a look at the good side of the car. It's nice and smooth and round at edges. Bumper's fine. But over here you can see the damage that was done. All crinkled in. A little bit there too. See the little split there. It all got to be pushed out a little bit. And I think that is fine. It's just that section right there. And you can see there how it got buckled a little bit with the paint broken up. So that whole thing has to kind of get moved out. Even got a little ripple right there. So I'll just go around through the back. Let me turn on my light. There it is. I got a hole where? There, and I got some more excess over there. You can see how close it's been pushed in. A little bit down there. So, I beat the heck out of it. Can't really see what I'm recording, so. Then if you go up here, it's kind of pushed in also. You can see it over there a little bit. How it's raised up. It's flat there and raised up there. And I got just a tool to fix that. This is the back piece off the bumper. It's got little clips here that snap in to this. And it looks like I got a metal clip here that needs to be straightened out. Everything just kind of snaps in. Just a couple screws hold it in, and that's about it. It's not a big deal. So I woke up Monday morning thinking, I wonder if Harbor Freight has one of those 4-ton auto body things, and they did. But it was like $175. And I'm thinking there's got to be a coupon for this. And right there on the web page, 25% off any one item, Labor Day weekend. So I went out and bought it. It was the same price I would have paid on Amazon. Had to go to Wentzville to get it. Got these little expansion jaws, and it's got these bars here that get plugged onto, screwed onto this part, and this gets screwed onto the ram, and these attached to the ram, and it'll push that stuff out in no time. This is 4 tons. It isn't going to take anything like that to get that stuff to move. I just got to find the time now. I've got grass seed to plant, rocks to put down in the yard Amy wants to get. I'm going to do a little grass seeding tonight and overseed. The weather's finally cooled off, so I'm ready to roll on that. My back hurts today. A little muscle pulled in it. I don't know why. And then Sunday, Brian came over, Brian Gatlin, and took that wheel off and put in a lower control arm and an entire bearing hub. Took us about 4 hours. Had to stop and go to the store, had some lunch, so it wasn't a big deal. And there's the bumper. So I'll get this done. Maybe I'll get it on it Saturday and Sunday and spend some time on it. If I can get this fixed this weekend and the trunk will close and latch and the alarm will set, I'll have one thing left to do on it, and that's fix the timing. I've been reading up about it, found some information online from some professional engine builders. They printed out a step-by-step thing to set the timing. Pretty much like I did it, but I'm going to walk through their routine. They had a couple little tips I probably didn't do, so that'll be that, and hopefully we'll be done. This would be incredible. I really want to get this trunk done this weekend. If I could get it trunk done, latching, trunk closing properly, and this tail light lined back up like it should look on this one, I'll be a real happy guy. Okay, Bob, we're going to see what happens here. Can't make any promises. It's Friday night, 8:30. Got a board in the trunk here. Got my ram in here. I'm just going to work right here, see if I can't push that out. I imagine I probably can with that much effort. Maybe I ought to start further. I'm going to start right here. It's the furthest point in. Here we go. Pop loose. Everything in position here. Board moving. Now it's tightening up. There we go. Look at that, it's starting to move. You see that? Look at that. You can see my points here. I pushed it through. Get a different head on that. Let's try a flat one. That's what I had on it. These were kind of punching through right there. See what happens. It's got a screw I tightened down. It lets it pump up, and then I unscrew it, and it lets the pressure off. Much of a length on this travel on this handle. Let's see what I'm doing here. Sets on the floor almost. Sorry about that. Step on it a little bit. The board seems to be plenty strong. I guess not a lot of travel in this handle. I guess it's probably a good thing, actually. It just goes a little at a time. I'm right here. And I think I'll move it over here a little bit. But it's coming out, isn't it? Look at that. It's pretty remarkable when you think about it. That might have to get, that's all I'm going to do right there. Here's the little knob you turn to let the pressure off. Look at that. Okay, I'm tapped out on length, I think. Yeah, I won't go down any further. When I say length, my ram is fully extended. I'll have to get a block of wood behind it or something. I should have a 4x4 over here, I think. Not sure how this is going to work. Actually, I think I'll put the brick behind the board and bring the board out. Pretty interesting how that moves. Didn't take much effort, man. Not much. Let's see if I have enough room to even get it in there. Oh yeah, just enough. Tighten that screw back down. Yeah, it's all got to get pumped out of there. Lights shining in my eyes. Okay. Now you'll see when I let off, it'll push back in a little bit. That's okay. And I'm right over here a little bit. I'll have to go up, push that piece out. I want to get this pushed out right here. Hey, this is pretty easy stuff, actually. It would be easy, but I didn't think it would be this easy. Careful not to get my finger in between the ram and the auto body. Look at that. That's freaking amazing. This gets pushed out. I can get up in there with that ram up there too. How about that? Gotta get all the way in here. Look at that. Pretty cool the way that's working. All that, I gotta get on that thing eventually. That whole thing's gotta push out. I got just enough room to do it in there. Go right here. I think I need to go that way just a wee bit. Oh, hard to say. Here. Where am I here? Oh, that's got to be flattened out up there. Can't quite get on that. I gotta get down at a funny angle. Not sure how I'm gonna do that. Can't get up in there. Light kind of bright. Some shape right there. I need to get that out. I'm not sure how that's going to happen. Boy, I can see the whole thing moving though. I like that. anyway, you can see, you know, I've come a long way from start to finish already. It's come way out. I mean, we're not talking about perfection. This screw, I need to get up at a funny angle. Well, I may have gone too far with this. I might have to go back in a little bit, actually. Flatten it out. Let's add a ball peen hammer. That a little bit. Because that's got a flat inset right there. I went too far with it. Got a little bit of an yeah, it's about right actually. That's could stand me going a little bit, but I don't think that's going to make a big difference. These holes actually are this. This gets bolted on like that. So it actually looks like it could stand to come out a little bit more. Or this goes in to get it flush to it. Interesting. Well, where's it at? There's the brake light. This goes in here. So it's a lot, I mean, we've made vast improvements already. That's crazy. I just can't hardly believe it. Yeah, can't hardly believe it. Looks like there's a little bit of a crease right there in that body. I don't know if you can see it or not. When that goes on, you gotta beat that out a little bit. So that goes in there. Right there. This nut has to press right up to it, otherwise it's not setting, and there's going to be movement in it. So, you know, that's quite a bit better. I can stand it going just a little bit more. You can see, well, maybe not from your angle, but from up high, you can see right there. There's a bit of a gap. But man, that is amazingly better. Now, you probably can't see it. But this piece of bodywork goes up around the light. This whole thing's got to get moved in. That's interesting. When you start looking at it. see what that looks like, Bob. Man, that's like night and day. You don't know how happy that makes me. Yeah, that just falls right in line. That's incredible. All this is going to be hidden with plastic molding panels. But that's got to get moved because that rubber seal, this big rubber seal, goes right along that edge up to there. Seals right in, right along, right on it. So that's going to take a little bit of work. But this is remarkable. I'm having a fun time. This is neat to see this come together. I think I can punch that out a little bit more. Let's see here. I don't think I got a big punch really. I got this piece of steel. That's why I need a ball-peen hammer. There's a lot of movement in that. I don't know if I'll move this thing or not. There it goes. Almost didn't go in. Okay. Wow, even that up there needs to come out. Even right here has been pushed back. So anyway, you can see how easy this fix is. It's going to take me some time to fit it, but I got to get the ram on here somehow. Push this out. So anyway, I'm going to shut her down, keep working, but hey Bob, working on the Malibu tonight. I laid grass seed last night. Basically, I've got everything working. The trunk latches, it locks, everything's working. Now I'm taking the time to really line this up. These little tabs here I told you the other day were metal. Well, they're not. They're plastic. Fortunately, none of them are broke. Except this corner one, which makes sense because that's where the damage is, right there. So I think what I'm going to do, I did this to the inside of the door when I repaired that. I'm just going to flip this over, melt that back together with my soldering iron, and maybe fill in a little bit with a little extra, try to strengthen that up a little bit. What happens is this, you've probably seen this, mounts on the car like so, and these little tabs right there, you can see the hook on it. I guess there's a bit of a, where's the profile at? Yeah, there you go. You can kind of see there's a hook on it. So this goes in there like that. Here's a good view of it. It goes in, slides. I got one hand here. Slides over, goes in, and then snaps. That piece snaps into that gap. So show you what I got going on here. There's my come along. I got it mounted to the chain right there on the head of that shock absorber, and I'm pulling when I need to. This position here, this plate here, this plate, zoom back a little bit. These knuckleheads that got in here and started beating on it, Bob, they had this at a 90 degree. This is like at 30 degrees right now. I pulled it out. And you can see, you know, what I've been doing to try to beat it back into position, trying to pull things out. That's what it looks like on the other side. And I've just pulled it out of the way to try to get the outside dressed up correctly so that it all lines up. And then when I'm done, I'll beat that back in out of the way. There's a big plastic cover that goes over it. Nobody will ever see it. But as I beat it over, I've got to make sure nothing moves. I've been fiddling around with that nut, trying to get it lined up like that one. And I think I'm about there, and I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm going to stop the video and come right back. Okay, I'm back. I mounted that bracket on the back of the car. Tail light's pretty much lined up. If you kind of look at here, all the way through there, you come over here to the other one, here, all the way through there, it's pretty much lined up. That all came back in line very nicely. It was sticking out cattywampus. This one was good. Fortunately, I had a good side to work with to see what I was doing. It's a little bit out right here. I'm not really concerned about that, because inside there's a metal against plastic. It's not going anywhere. That baby's solid. So then I'm trying to figure out, okay, why won't it latch? Well, the problem was this latch was vertical. I mean, literally, Bob, it went straight up when I bolted it in. So I had to pull all that out to get an angle, because when this closes, it comes in not like this, it comes in like this at an angle and latches across the top. So went to the junkyard yesterday, Brian Gatlin and I. We had a good time. I bought a new seal because this one was a little chopped up, came apart, and I figured it wasn't going to be much. I spent like 40 bucks for everything I got. And then I bought a new striker plate, and you can see it looks a little different than the other one. Okay. Well, what's that big spring on there? Gee, they just decided they didn't need it anymore, and they ripped it off, cut it off, whatever they did. What this does is, there's a good tension to it. So when you pop the trunk, you know, this thing might be sitting down a little bit, and then you pop the trunk and it pops up and causes the trunk to lift out of being latched. So they destroyed that. And then I bought another latch. This came off of 2012. It was beat up, but the trunk was not damaged at all. So you can see what that one looks like. Here's what the new one looks like. I put a little oil on it. I worked this one over last winter, early spring, just to see if I can get the thing to latch, and it wouldn't latch. So I bought this, the latch, the rubber. I needed, these are the louver vents, and I needed this little piece, 2 or 3 of them. And then this one on the back door, inside the door handle. While I was there, I'm like, well, maybe I can get one of those. So I got that, a couple other little nuts and bolt things that I was kind of missing, and got all that. So now here I am, Monday, kind of fiddling around with it and trying to get it to work. So this plastic piece was also, had a little bit of damage. It got smashed, and in the process, it kind of got bent out of shape. And I thought, well, I really need to see if I can straighten that thing out. So I went over to our favorite store, Harbor Freight, and I bought a heat gun, and it's pretty remarkable. I heated up this end, got a pair of pliers, kind of shaped it. It was kind of bowed out and a little flared out this way a little bit, and man, gosh, I pretty much squared it away, you know. So I'm looking at it from here. Oh, it looks pretty good. So if you notice, I'm going to go to the left a little bit, and you'll see the bumper pop out. See the bumper starting to come out? I use that kind of sight line to figure out, well, I'm looking pretty good, okay? So then I close the trunk, and I got all kinds of different things to look at. So I got, you see these little tabs here, tab holes? I go over here and look, and I'm like, I had it working, and I hit it a couple times and went in too far. So I'm going to push that back out, and that'll line up. You can kind of look at them as you go along. This side is a little bit closer. Take another look. Okay, now we come to the middle, and that's the center, and we're going back, and they're in just a little bit. So I'm going to square that away, because what's going to happen is these are going to snap into that, and there's going to be a gap between that and the body, and I want to get it as close as I can. And I'll measure from here to here. This measures 1 3/8 of an inch. And I measure same thing here to here, and this is 1 5/8. So it needs to come out just a wee bit, and I can do that. You asked about the lines. Pretty sweet, I think. Trunk could maybe come out some, but it's kind of the same. It's up a little bit here. You know, some of that might help when I be able to get the actual latch back on it, but I'm not going to fuss over that. You know, we'll see, but I'm really close now. I wanted you to see what I've been doing. Pretty happy with it. So then, where did I put it? I don't know where the latch is. The key. Oh, here it is, the key. So you punch the button. I got a light that's out for some reason, looks like. There, it's working. Come on, go out. Yeah, I got a light out there, looks like. I've been beating on it. Maybe something went off. So I'll have to check that out. They were all working before. Maybe a vibration caused the bulb to pop. Anyway, I'm getting really close. I just finished pulling this out a little bit more on this side. You can see I'm connected to that side. And I think I'm pretty happy with it. So the next step is I'm going to put my jack in here and push that out just a wee bit. Make sure everything's lined up, and then maybe I'll put the latches on and see if it'll latch and line up, and we'll go from there. I wanted you to see what I'm doing. Okay, so here's a quick one. I just did it. I mean, it took me 2 minutes. Start looking at those gaps there in that piece of plastic. And that blue paper's the middle, and we're going back the other way. And I moved it, and it looks pretty good to me. You know what I mean? So there, to there, and then that one, to that one, and that one, to that one, and those two. Yeah, I also forgot to show you there's a gap along the bottom here that I discovered, and I'm like, well, how's that gonna work? So if you look at that gap, on this side it was high. I've been beating on the back of it. And I mean, you probably can't really tell it, but it looks really good. So I feel like I'm pretty close, ready to put the bumper back on, except I gotta fix that other tab. Okay, so here we are at the end of the night. I put my new seal on. I got my light in permanently. This bracket I had taken off, I didn't know what it was at the time when I took it off. And I got one over there, and I believe it will catch the bumper. This part of the bumper will set right on that little ledge, just supporting it. It's remarkable how cheap this stuff is built when you start looking at it. I got the new spring latch in. I got the new latch in there. This is all looking pretty good. I'm happy with it. The next step is I've got to adjust. I don't know if you can really see. It's raised right here. And this is all crimpled. These are not. And what happens, this piece goes in here. It will cover all that ugliness nice and pretty. But that tab right there goes in that hole. That tab goes in that hole. That tab, of course, that crinkled hole. That tab. And then these go in over that. And of course, look at, this one's not too bad over here, but this is the mess right now. So I've got to do a little beating on that and pulling, and I'll figure something out. And then I can snap that baby in, put all the liner back in, and the trunk will be done. Check it out. Where's my keys? They're in my pocket. Okay. So here's the latch. That's the old one. You know, I don't know what they were thinking. They cut it all up. And there's the new one. They just totally destroyed it. I mean, they could have had this fixed very easily if they had thought the process out. Growing up, I had a friend in junior high school, Alan Taylor. And he pretty much had two tools in his toolbox. A pair of vice grips and a hammer. Oh, poor mentality.